Anyway, anyhow. I kind of gave up on classes right now. Yeah, I know I could be making a killing right now because everybody wants to get their permits, but I'm kind of slowing down a little bit. I'm still doing them, but I only do ones that are recommended to me by people that I know. I'm not going to just advertise. Oh yeah, here we go. You know, nah, not going to happen. So anyway, I had a class yesterday, and we live in a town, so we have a first selectman. We don't have a mayor, so to speak. He is the mayor, but he's not a mayor. You know what I mean? Small towns are not mayors. But anyhow. It was basically a lot of his family members, and then there was a few of his friends, and we also have some friends that they had that I have, and so anyway I said alright, so, and that's where we're at. Now I didn't fire these. I have my weapons and my wife's weapons, that the only one that fires them is myself or her. Now, as a rule, she won't fire mine and I don't fire hers. However, we will do that occasionally, but hers is hers and mine is mine. But every now and then we like to swap off because she should know how to operate mine as well as I hers. I know hers. She doesn't do as much, so she needs to fire mine a little bit more so. But anyway, let me get these and put these someplace for now, because we're not going to be using these. And I don't mean to clean these. Let me just move these into the orifice. One of those is the block, the 35T, 35 tactical. I don't know why they give me these names, it just makes it worse. Anyhow, and these don't fire. These are real weapons, they're registered, they're serial numbered. I can't just throw them away. Nor would I. However, they are blocked, and the actions don't work. Nothing works on them. This one does work a little bit. The barrel's blocked all the way through, so I have everything else taken care of there. This one, the barrel's blocked to about here, but what I had done was I left it so the gate opens, but this isn't going to turn any more than like 1 or 2 notches. So, and what I do is, these are the first guns that they handle, because I want them to get used to having it in their hand, find their grip, get their control, get used to the weapon, and even the magazines are jammed up. So, but get used to everything, and at that point, do what you got to do. Now this one, like I say, functions somewhat, but the barrel is blocked all the way, so we don't have to worry about it. I may have even taken the firing pin out, I don't remember. But that's what these are. So these would be the first. Every student will put one of these, or both of them actually, but not at the same time, in their hands. What I normally do is I take 2 at the range at a time. I won't take them all down to range. One person can't keep track of a group. So what you do is I bring them all down, and I give them all the range rules and the do's and the don'ts and the ceasefires and stuff like that. I go through the different stance with them and how to sight in the targets and so on. Excuse me. And then at that point, I tell them to stay. The rest of them go back up into the top room. So they all talk and two will stay. And then what I do is I say, okay, you go in that, you go there. Each take a handgun, one of these. I place them there, and that's how I usually put them. And play with them for a few minutes. Now, they're dealing with them a little bit. My back is to them at this point because I'm getting ready. But I tell them if there's any questions, let me know. And when I'm done with what I'm doing over here, I, at that point, go to each one and I go through everything again with them. And then we swap guns. And then we go through everything again as the differences between them. Even though we did that up in the classroom, as far as the differences. They don't have any of these in their hands at all in the classroom. But anyway, that's these. Where can I put these for now? Because I don't need to do anything with these. Right here in the box. Right in the box. Okie dokie. Now, I am not a big fan of Rugers, by no means. They make a good revolver. Their other handguns, in my opinion, they may be reliable, I couldn't tell you, but every one that I've shot is just a hard hitting firearm. You know, in other words, the kick on them is just, nah. They're not balanced right. I mean, they're 380, forget about it. The revolvers are good, the 101 I like. And when I bought this is a Ruger. This is a 22. I bought it strictly for practice for them. And I think this is the SP22P. Yeah, okay. They also call it like a 22R or something, but for the most part, it's a Ruger. I needed one quick because of that one shit the bed. That's a SIG solder. SIGs usually make good firearms. That's why I bought that 22 pistol, semi, whatever you want to call it. But I'll tell you what, it did not hold up at all. I still buy certain SIGs. I won't buy them all. I don't like, you know, not every car is, you know, manufacturer makes the best car. You know, follow me? And it's the same thing with guns. But anyway, I went up to a gun shop because I needed one in a hurry. They had this there. The guy said, this is what I use. That's why I have 6 of them in the showcase, because I also sell them. You know, I said, so what's happening? You know, what's the story? We talked for a few minutes, and I have bought firearms off this guy before. Many, many moons ago, however, back in '92, I think, when I had to go to the police academy. And at that point, he stared me straight on that. So I said, okay, let me buy it. So I bought it. And I'll tell you what, this is a nice little firearm. It's a 22, however, you know, but it's a nice little firearm. So, got that one. I didn't use the, and this is the 22 Ruger, which is another story. We didn't use the 357 Taurus or the, what you call it, but the 357, but it also fires 38s, but we didn't use anything at that point. We didn't use that at all. However, we did use these pieces of shit. And I mean that, literally. They are a piece of shit. Oops, sorry baby. The last time, let me see it. the hell is Denise Allen? They didn't even send me the right. You fucking assholes. You see what I mean? Okay. I've seen these being advertised out there, but none in Connecticut. I didn't see any of the shops that I'm aware of in Connecticut that were selling them. When you ask about it, they'll say, yeah, we can special order it. They want it $325, some want it $350. Well, I'm watching them being advertised on the internet with these shops from down south and over towards the Midwest. They're being advertised for $2.25, $2.50. But here in Connecticut, you know, we got to get the So anyway, I had to buy a .22 revolver. So I went to Charter Arms. Charter Arms is in Shelton, Connecticut. And in Shelton, Connecticut, there's also a little gun shop. So when I was buying this directly from Charter Arms, what they do is they'll sell it to me as an instructor, and they give me a real good price on it. Now the why they do that is because if this is going to be for you to shoot when I'm training you, you're going to say, oh, I like that. What kind is it? Well, it's a Charter Arms. I mean, right here in Connecticut. You know, and they're going to say, oh, I want to buy one of those. You know, and well, you go to that gun shop, you know. But anyway, that's why they want them out there. They give them to us cheap. I had to go to the gun shop to have it transferred. So here's what they did. I'm there. Here's the firearm. They showed me a bunch of shit. They even gave us a tour. Tom went with me. I think the tour is actually on YouTube someplace. On one of my channels. Well, one of my videos. And I told the guy, oh, I bought the gun. They handed it to me and said, go down to the gun shop and he'll do the transfer. Well, you're not supposed to give me this firearm until it's been transferred to me. What they should have done was said, go down to the shop, here's the information, right? He'll do the transfer, and then you can come back up and pick up the gun. Now, they're only about 7 blocks from one another, so it's not a big deal. However, there, I could have very well have just driven away, and this firearm is gone. They have no idea who I am other than who I told them I was. Right? You know, because none of the transfer's been done. But anyway, I take it and I'm down there and I seen this in the showcase. I said to him, oh, you got a Sky. Yeah. Is that new? Yeah. What do you get for it? You want to give me $275? Well, that's the cheapest price yet, and I didn't have to order it, and now I can actually feel it to see how it feels to me. You know, because otherwise you order it blind, and then what? You know, you pay more money for it, and then you have no idea if you're going to like the feel or not. So at that point, they took it out of the case, and I'm looking at it, and, you know, kind of checking it. The springs are tight. You know, that could be part of the problem. But at that point, I'm looking at it and said, yeah, okay, I'll buy it. So I bought it. Gave it to Darlene for, I don't know if it was birthday. It wasn't Christmas. I gave her an AR for Christmas. It was some kind of a holiday there. I forgot what it was. Anyway, I gave it to her. It was on a Thursday. And we went up to the range. I hadn't even fired it. It was brand new. I bought it for her. So we go up there. I look at it again. She looks at it. So it feels nice. It's a nice little firearm. easy to conceal, 9mm, blah, 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 blah. However, I don't like the barrel length, it's short, so you got to expect a little bit more of a oomph when you fire it. If the beaver tail was a little bigger, that would probably help a little better, but at that point, for her. But at that point, we load the magazines. I load one, she loads the other. She goes bam, bam, bam at 7 yards. And she was grouping them, within the palm of my hand. And she said, oh, I like this. So she did, I don't know, close to 100 rounds. I said, save me 10, 15 rounds. So I try it. It's really not a bad piece. So I called the gun shop up and I said, order me another one. So now we have a his and hers. Well, hers, she doesn't use it that much. Me, I'm always at the range. Well, at the time I was. Lately, the last couple of years, it hasn't been like that was. But for me to put 1,000 to 1,500 rounds through this, maybe a week. I mean, really. If you're going to the range, you can easily pop 300, 400, 500 rounds off in an hour or two. And that's not just going bam, 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 bam. That's bam, bam, looking, checking, talking, boop, 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 boom, enjoying the day. It started acting up. So I thought, maybe it was just the ammo. Now, I only use brass, and I only use what I buy from this. I don't buy reloads, and I won't buy anything that has seconds, meaning if the brass has been used twice. I might pay a little bit more for it at times, but that's the only thing I'll use. Even if it's range ammo, it's the same thing. So, let me continue, and it started getting worse. It was getting to the point to where I was lucky if I was able to get half the rounds off inside. And it's a 10-round mag. So it was like bam, bam, jam, bam, bam, stovepipe. And it's not, me weak-wristing it. I've been shooting for a long time. It's the firearms problem. So at that point, I'm going, okay, well, what do I do? Well, I called him up. I was talking to Jason. He says, it could be the magazines. We manufacture the guns right here in Florida. However, we outsource the magazines, and we're going to be changing that shortly to where we're going to be making our own. He says, but let me send you a couple of new mags. That's when he sent me the 4 new mags, 2 for each firearm. Well, I thought, okay, we'll try it. I mean, it's a possibility, but same thing with this one. So I said, I just noticed it didn't even tighten that. Look at that. They didn't even tighten this. Man. Anyhow. No, they didn't even tighten the sights. Anyhow. I just noticed that. I'm sitting here, I'm looking, I'm seeing space. And then when I went like this, it moved. That's the same thing. Make a long story short, I told the wife, no, I took it. And I gave her the 32. And I told her, the 32 is probably the least, any firearm is better than none. However, the 32 would be the least that I would go with. That would be the lowest number, the lowest caliber that I would go with. 32 long, something. But at that point, I said that. Now, if it ever came to the point where you had to pull the trigger, like in the house and you're in the bedroom and you can't get out, just if it comes to the point to you where you feel justified to where you have to pull the trigger, empty the 7 rounds into it and hang on to the gun. Don't throw it at him like you're in the movies. Hang on to it. Because until he bleeds out, and the more holes he has, the quicker he's going to bleed out. especially if he's on any kind of medication, you can at least be beating him in the head or in the groin with the firearm or your knee until he goes down. But anyway, that was with the 32. I ended up keeping them both. I used mine at the range for when I was giving classes. Every time I went up there, though, I took hers and I used it. Same thing. As soon as I started getting a few hundred, well, I would say somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 rounds, they started acting up. And I said, nah. So that's when I sent them both back. And that's apparently, well, that was the last time I sent them back. And when Felicia or Dominica or whatever her name was, apparently was the person. We're talking about a red dot. There's no red dot on this anywhere, so I don't even know if they did the right guns. They're probably getting a lot of them back. So anyway, that's where we're at. So now what will happen is sometimes you fire, you may get 4 or 5 rounds and it may stovepipe on you, jam, don't go back into battery. So I like them because it gives the student and me a chance, because I'm there now. So that when they're going bam, 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 and this thing jams, locks, whatever the case may be, you know, they're not paying attention. They're just pulling the trigger. Why isn't it pulling the trigger this time? Well, you got a piece of brass sticking up out of it. Hello? Yeah. And it gives me a chance to explain to them these things and show them how to clear it. So I like it for that reason. So they became a good tool for training, because they will let you get 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes more. Sometimes you'll be able to run a full load, a full mag through them. Sometimes you're lucky if you get 2 rounds off at a time. So they're strictly for training. And if you were to ask me, and the students always do, don't buy them, don't buy a Sky, don't buy a Charter Arms. That's all there is to it. I says, and if you're going to look at a Ruger, because they're priced well, and they look bad, just think twice. See if there's one that you can use and see if you like it before you shoot it. So anyway, that's where we're at. Now, when I say out of battery, well, stovepiping, you guys know what a stovepipe is, I'm sure. Stovepipe is, that's what we call them anyway, is you got trying to get one, the casing is trying to get out, while the other one is trying to feed. And the other one is here, but it's up against the empty, and the empty's sticking up, so it looks like an old stovepipe. You follow me? So they call it stovepiping. Out of battery is when it goes back, it may not go in all the way. It may get stuck right there because it didn't feed properly. See what I mean? It's not smooth. So sometimes you have to whack it with the palm of your hand. Women have that problem. You know, they go, you know, like, you got to hit it. You know, now if you hit it and it doesn't work, then you're going to have to drop the magazine and rack it out of there. So, but meanwhile, that's basically how that works. So I got to clean these. Now this one, I took this back to them in Shelton, and I told the guy, I was sitting there with the vice president, Tom and I both, and we're bullshitting. He's showing us around again and this and that. And I was telling, he calls in the guy that's in the assembly department, the overseer, and I told him, I said, now the first 6 rounds was fine. I says, but as it heats up, you can't get them out of there. This won't do this. You know, you got to get something and bang on it to get them out. So, and that starts right around the second load. You know, so you're into your 12. And when you get into the 18, it gets rougher yet. So he looks at it and says, okay. He says, let me replace them. Replace it. Well, I said, I'd rather you just try to fix it, but okay. So he replaces it. Hey, baby. He brings it back out to me after we've done the tour. And nowhere in this place did I see or hear any firearms going off. I didn't see any little rooms where they may have had the little pit that they fire into, and they should have a door, and it's usually quiet, and they have a light, telling you don't come in, they're shooting something. There was nothing there at all on these firearms working. The only thing I seen check is when the last assembler starts putting them together. They have a room, and I think they had 9. Each one was doing their own thing. And the last one would go through it like this, like that. He would pull the trigger a couple times. He'd pull the hammer back, and that was it. So anyway, he calls us up. We go back after the little thing. We're sitting in the little room over there with about 100 or more of all their 38s and so on. And they're all sitting there, all different colors. He goes, I says, you got a lot going out, huh? He goes, oh no, those are in for repair. And then he shuts up. But there was a lot of them there. Now he probably sells a lot, so that may not be a lot to what he sells, but it was a lot to me. Right? So the guy now hands me back the firearm, and naturally I just kind of look at it, and I can see that he changed it, but I can't tell if it's any better or worse until I actually use it. How many rounds you put through it? Knowing damn well there was no place around this place, because I was there. I was through the whole building. And you think they would have made it a point to showing me at least the door to this, if they had this little safe room. But anyway, they showed me the CC motor, what's that? The father and son, they built the choppers on TV. They had one of those there. But anyway, I said, how many rounds you put through it? He goes, 6. No, wait a minute, it was 12. No, I think it was 18. See, now he's remembering what I said. He didn't put anything through this thing. So anyway, I get in a car with Tom, and I said, he didn't do anything to this. He just changed the cylinder. That was it. Go to the range, same thing. All right? I call him up, he's doing the same thing. I says, did you guys really change that? Or do you just have a bad run? Do you have a way of honing these out? He goes, no, we don't manufacture them here anymore. We just assemble.